Welcome to Baldy's Thoughts, where curiosity meets revelation. Join us as we delve into profound questions, challenge traditional beliefs, and explore the depths of human understanding. Together, let's embark on a journey of enlightenment and discovery. The time has come to confront the uncomfortable truth. The Bible, long upheld as a cornerstone of morality and spirituality, is a collection of contradictions, myths, and outright lies designed to manipulate and suppress critical thinking. For centuries, it has been used to enslave minds, perpetuate ignorance, and enforce submission under the guise of divine authority. It is time to expose these deceitful narratives and reject them outright. This must end, and it must end now. The lies of original sin and salvation. Let's start with the Adam and Eve story, a myth so absurd that it collapses under even the faintest scrutiny. The tale claims that humanity's suffering stems from a single act of disobedience by two supposed ancestors in a garden thousands of years ago. Genesis 3:6-7. This narrative has endured across cultures because it touches on universal themes of temptation, consequence, and moral choice. It provides a simple explanation for the complexities of human suffering and offers a framework for understanding guilt and redemption. These ideas have resonated with societies for centuries, serving as both a cautionary tale and a tool for imposing moral codes. This is the foundation for original sin, a concept that condemns every human being as inherently guilty from birth. Think about that. You're told you're a sinner simply for existing. This is psychological manipulation at its finest, designed to make people feel broken so they can be saved by the very institution that broke them. And who is the hero in this fabricated drama? Jesus, the so-called Savior, who was sent to die for sins that Adam and Eve supposedly committed, John 3:16. But here's the kicker. Modern science, backed by genetic evidence, proves there was never a single Adam and Eve. Studies of human DNA reveal that our species evolved as a population of thousands, not a single pair. Mitochondrial DNA and the Human Genome Project provide overwhelming evidence that humans share a common ancestor with other species, and our lineage cannot be traced back to just two individuals. Humans evolved as a population, not from two individuals. If Adam and Eve never existed, then neither did original sin. And if original sin is a lie, the entire premise of Jesus dying to save humanity crumbles into dust. Contradictions and absurdities in the Bible. The Bible is riddled with contradictions that defy logic and undermine its claim to divine authorship. Let's examine some of the most glaring examples. The creation contradiction. Genesis 1:25-27 states that humans were created after animals, while Genesis 2:18-19 claims Adam was created before animals. Which is it? The flood myth Genesis 6:19 commands Noah to take 2 of every kind of animal onto the ark, yet Genesis 7:2-3 demands 7 pairs of clean animals. This inconsistency highlights the fabricated nature of the story. The nature of God. Exodus 15:3 declares, "The Lord is a man of war," while 1 John 4:8 says, "God is love." How can an all-loving God also be a warlord? The problem of justice. Ezekiel 18:20 states, "The son shall not bear the guilt of the father." Yet Exodus 34:7 reveals that God punishes children for the sins of their parents to the 3rd and 4th generation. The resurrection accounts. The Gospels provide conflicting accounts of who visited Jesus' tomb, what they saw, and who they spoke to. Matthew 28:1-8, Mark 16:1-8, Luke 24:1-10, John 20:1-18. These contradictions reveal the unreliability of the New Testament, a tool of control for the ignorant masses. The Bible was never meant to enlighten. It was meant to enslave. Historically, its teachings have been weaponized to justify oppression, from slavery to misogyny to genocide. The masses were told to bow down, obey authority, and accept suffering as God's will. Romans 13, 1-2. Does this sound like a book of liberation or one of tyranny? Consider the countless absurdities in its pages. The Bible promotes a violent, jealous God who demands blind obedience and worship. Exodus 34:14. This depiction starkly contrasts with modern ethical principles, which prioritize equality, compassion, and free will. Where contemporary morality emphasizes individual rights and the intrinsic value of each person, the Bible's portrayal often demands submission under threat of punishment. Such a vision is incompatible with the ideals of justice and empathy that guide modern societies. It endorses atrocities like stoning disobedient children, Deuteronomy 21:18-21, and treating women as property, Exodus 21:7-8. Yet, we're supposed to hold this book up as the moral standard for humanity? To believe that teaching its doctrines will somehow create a better society? That's willful ignorance. Rejecting the Bible to protect truth, allowing the Bible to influence morality and culture, does more than perpetuate lies. It stunts intellectual and ethical growth. It teaches people to accept stories without evidence, to suppress questions, and to fear punishment for thinking critically. This is the exact opposite of what a free and rational society should promote. By elevating the Bible, we are not teaching people how to think. We are teaching them what to think, and that is dangerous. It trains them to accept authority without question, to swallow dogma without challenge, and to ignore evidence when it contradicts religious claims. This is how ignorance spreads and progress stalls. The urgency of waking up. This is not just about rejecting the Bible's place in culture, it's about rejecting the Bible's stories outright. These tales of sin, salvation, and divine authority are relics of a bygone era designed to control and manipulate. Consider, for example, the use of the Bible to justify slavery in the 18th and 19th centuries, with verses like Ephesians 6:5 instructing slaves to obey their masters. Similarly, the Crusades leveraged biblical narratives to rationalize violence and conquest under the guise of holy war. These historical abuses demonstrate how the Bible's stories have been repeatedly exploited to maintain power and suppress dissent. We must wake up and realize that the Bible was crafted to keep people docile and obedient, to scare them with threats of hell and lure them with false promises of heaven. It is a tool of psychological warfare, not a guide to truth. To those who cling to the Bible's stories out of fear or tradition, you are not only complicit in perpetuating ignorance, but are actively hindering humanity's progress. This is not a time for politeness or compromise. The future of our collective intellect is at stake. The Bible belongs in the realm of mythology and literature, not as a guiding principle for morality or truth. The way forward: reject the Bible's influence outright. Replace it with teachings that encourage critical thinking, scientific inquiry, and an understanding of the real, evidence-based history of humanity. For example, curricula could include philosophy to foster independent thought, science education that emphasizes empirical evidence, and world history that explores the development of diverse cultures and beliefs without bias. Teach that morality comes from empathy, reason, and mutual respect, not from fear of divine punishment. The truth is liberating, but it requires courage to face. Let us have the courage to stand up, speak out, and demand better for ourselves and future generations. The time to break free from the Bible's chains is now. Thank you for joining us on this exploration. If you found value in today's discussion, please like, share, and subscribe to stay updated with our latest insights. Your thoughts and perspectives are invaluable to us. Leave a comment below to continue the conversation. Until next time, keep questioning and keep seeking.